Welcome back to another episode of the Next Man Up podcast. This is episode 59. We're getting closer to 60. Honestly, closer to 100. I can't wait till we get there and see how far we came. We actually coming up on a year of having this podcast. I think it's about like December 15th. I think is the actual day. I gotta make sure, but we're coming up on a year of having a podcast. It's gonna be one more month, so I'm excited for who all have been here since day one, or if you just joined along the way. I'm excited about the NBA season. NBA, NFL right now is popping. I'm not gonna lie. We had a great NFL Sunday. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. CJ Stroud getting the upset win over the Bengals. We had a crazy Sunday as well in the NBA. Tyrese Maxey dropping 50 points. We're gonna talk about that. But before we even get started, make sure you guys subscribe to our social media up at the top right there. Like the video, share the video so we can keep growing. We had like 340 subscribers, but I want to hit like 500 before. I wanted to hit 500 in our first year. It's still possible, but it's gonna be a long shot at the way we're going. But who knows? It only take one video, one TikTok to pop off, and then we lit. But we're gonna get right into NFL. We're doing NFL and NBA today. Texans upset the Bengals, and Ravens blow leads to the Browns. This topic is really about the AFC North. It's probably the toughest conference in the NFL right now. I think the Ravens are 7-3, the Browns are 6-3, the Steelers are 6-3, and the Bengals are 5-4. So it's a real log jam right now in the AFC North. The question is, who are you most confident right now in winning the AFC North? Go ahead.
It's the Ravens. It's the Ravens. The problem with the Ravens is when I say they, I kind of mean Lamar. He has a problem closing games. And it's like he also has a turnover problem, more so like fumbles. But yesterday he did the pick six wasn't. I mean, you can say it's his fault, but it was a tip. He also threw interception earlier, but it seems to always happen later on in the game. Like they don't seem to put away teams early enough, or clamp down right when they need to. They always find a way to let a team back in, just like with the Steelers with all those drops. They allow Kenny Pickett to be the fourth quarter demon that he's been all season. Go in there and win the game, but if you look at the schedule, even if the Ravens go 3-4 in their last, 7 games, they still have 10 wins. And that's probably enough to get them because they just have to beat at least 2 of their division opponents. They got the Bengals on Thursday, which I think they should go in there and beat just how they did earlier. I understand Joe Burrow, I guess, has been hot, the past, 4 weeks, but he kind of cooled down against a lesser Texans team. The Ravens defense is still a top 5 defense in the league. It should make it tough for Joe Burrow. Chase is banged up. Higgins might not be back. He might. You never know, but he's still going in there banged up. It's just for them to win. Like, it's just the tale of how they always been. Right now is usually the time where, like, Lamar has went down the past 2 seasons. But, I mean, as of right now, it looks like he's basically going to play the whole season. So, as long as he's there, they should win. I doubt they go 3-4, more like 4-3, 5-2. And they should definitely, get out of there with double-digit wins. Probably have a hold on the conference by, like, at least a game or 2.
Talk to me, Max. Who are you most confident in the AFC North winning the division?
Currently, I think it's crazy to say still anybody but the Baltimore Ravens. I think the Browns are still a good football team, but I don't trust their offense still. I don't think anyone's saying they played the greatest. That pick at the end, I think, was lucky. Tip ball, like I'm not really going to doubt it too much. Their defense is stellar. They have been getting stops all year. They've been getting turnovers, which is great. But I still need to see more from Deshaun Watson before I put my trust in him. I don't know who's picking the Steelers. I think that they're a really weird team to be 6-3. But I know Q does not agree with this. I think the Bengals are still in there. I think the Bengals are still in there. I still trust Joe Burrow. The Bengals play the Ravens well. I will not be surprised if on Thursday night we're talking about it. Did the Ravens completely collapse? I think the Bengals will put up a good fight. I think it'll be a good game. I might even have them winning. But I still think that as a whole, Baltimore is the most complete team in that division. Offense can be good at times, but has shown that they can win games. Defense is obviously stellar. Lamar is currently playing like the best quarterback in that division. I'm right now putting all my trust in the Ravens. I've done it all year. They've been Lamar's been my pick for MVP. I've been super, super confident in that team all year long. Hasn't really changed. I think the results against the Seahawks and the Lions just dominating teams that are like new to them. You know what I mean? When it comes time to the playoffs, I think teams that don't see him twice a year, if they don't have to match up against a divisional rival, I think we could see some ugly games where they just dominate teams because of how dominant they are on both sides of the ball. So I'm very confident in their team, coaching wise, especially too. But yeah, I'm not really changing my focus. I still think it's the Ravens division to lose.
I agree. I think the Ravens are probably going to win the division, but the Ravens are in Lamar's career. Lamar Jackson is 7-2 against the Ravens, so he doesn't really lose to them. Bengals. I mean, Lamar Jackson is 7-2 against the Bengals. He don't really lose to them much. He's only actually lost to Joe Burrow one time, so I probably would pick them. And especially T. Higgins is still banged up. I don't know if he's gonna be 100% coming into the game. Jamar Chase didn't look too great against the Texans. He looked banged up. You know, they had to really rely on Tyler Boyd to be like the number one wide receiver. He had 8 receptions for 117 yards on my fantasy team. Thank you, boy. I need that. Can't wait for Jettis to get back. But he can't be your number one option week in, week out. So I'm still confident in the Ravens winning the division. I think Lamar Jackson did take a little hit in that MVP race, though, because I was really confident in him winning it this season. And now it's kind of murky, bro. I think this is probably one of the most, like, we don't know who's going to win it. Like, we don't have really too many front runners right now in the NFL MVP candidate right now. Like, we got
MVP wise. I thought you meant the division.
Yeah. Sorry. No. Well, the division is murky, but I think probably can still be confident in the Ravens. But as far as in the MVP, Mahomes ain't had his best year. Jalen Hurts started the year off struggling, but he's recovered over the last few weeks. We got Joe Burrow, who we thought was gonna come, and then he just had a bag. Well, he had an okay game, threw 2 interceptions against the Texans. Like, I think CJ Stroud actually has an actual chance right now. If the Texans make the playoffs, CJ Stroud could win MVP. Honestly, he could.
Maybe. I think this is just a classic year of where it's like a shit show of who's gonna win it, and then at the end the Chiefs are gonna win like 6 games, and like everyone should be like, all right, like let's just give it to Mahomes, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like I think it'll just be their top 2 team of football, and it's still Pat Mahomes. They're just gonna give it to him. Q, my question to you is, the Eagles still play the Cowboys one more time, right? Dak wins that game, and let's still say hypothetically they finish as the second team in that NFC East fight, right? They finished at the number 2, say they finished under Philly, but Dak beats the Eagles. Let's say who else they play? Don't they play a couple other good teams?
It's just a bunch of division teams after that.
Okay. Well, anyways, so I guess, do you think there's a chance that even if they don't win the division, Dak still has a shot at winning MVP?
His numbers outside of the 49ers game, and I understand you can't like exclude the 49ers game, but outside of the 49ers game, Dak's numbers have been great. You feel me? Every post, like, let's say after the Jets win, it's been pretty much like he's been lighting up the scoreboard damn near every game except outside of that 49ers game. In the Giants game, the first Giants game where it's like it was straight defense and special teams that did a lot, so he didn't really have to do much. He's putting up great numbers. They're not going to give Dak Prescott MVP because this Dak Prescott's a Cowboy. They lost to the Niners. I still think they have a shot to even still win the division. Things have to fall their way. Like the Eagles have a tough schedule. Like, so if the Eagles stumble somehow, even though I don't think they should, because they have been rolling as of late, the Dallas Cowboys, they kind of sneak in there because they just got to see Washington twice. They got to see the Panthers next week. They have a chance to beat the Eagles at home. So they could probably still get 12 wins, 13 wins on the season. But if he's up there, then yeah, he has a chance, but it's tough. They probably just give it to Mahomes at the end of the year.
I think if they win the division, though, I think Dak is in that conversation. So that's why, like, I think it's kind of like he has to be just because they're the number 1 seed or number 2 seed, I guess, and he's the quarterback on that team. So I think if they lose, then I think it's
Dak
a little more contentious.
They're not giving it to Dak Prescott.
I think Dak has a real chance. I actually think Dak has a real chance at MVP. Personally, let's say he beats. You forgot they play the Bills. Let's say he beat the Bills. Let's say he beat the Dolphins, and let's say they beat the Eagles this time. Like, the Cowboys have a chance to finish the season against the Panthers, W. Against the Commanders, W. They can beat the Seahawks, W. Let's say they beat the Eagles, W. And they also beat the Bills and Dolphins. He can win MVP. Like,
it depends on how they win too. It depends on how they win. It depends on how they win too. Like, if he's getting ugly wins, it's still a win. But I'm not like that's not moving me in the MVP conversation. I think if he like. You could go against these 2 teams though. The Bills and the Dolphins both got bad defenses. If he goes up against them and he starts like it's still a bad defense. I get it. But if he can dominate against like those two teams, I think that does like turn heads. But I don't know. I
The
guess.
Cowboys, they don't get ugly wins. Like they not an ugly
No,
win
all
team.
year this year.
They
Yeah, no, I
either
get it.
blowing you out or they
They're getting
lost.
blown. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Unless it's like if it's the Eagles, if they facing the Eagles, historically it's usually like a probably a one-score game, but they probably still come out with the win. Obviously the 49ers got blown out, but that still wasn't never also a thing. That's the first time they got blown out by the 49ers. Like it's usually again a one-score game. They don't usually get blown out. That 49ers game in the season, that was an anomaly. We never seen that. But it's still it's an aura around the Cowboys that's like they're not good in the playoffs, so let's not, treat them as like a good team. Same way like we talked last episode, the Sixers ain't great in the playoffs, so let's not treat them as a good team in the regular season. Like let's not have no real conversations about them until they do something. And I think that's just what's gonna hold Dak back in that type of conversation, even though I don't think it should.
All right, let's talk about CJ because we got to talk about CJ. I feel like this is like our third time talking about CJ. We already had 2 videos on the channel based around CJ Stroud. I'm gonna ask Max because I kind of know what Q is stating on this. Max, I don't know if I got your perspective. Is it too early to call CJ Stroud a top 10 quarterback?
I don't know, because it is right. He's only played what 9 games,
9
8
games.
games. So, but the way he's winning these games and the team that he is on, like, I don't think a lot of other quarterbacks are doing that, right? Like, I think if you switch situations, I don't think a lot of other quarterbacks are doing that, and I think CJ Stroud can make other situations better. So I think this is where like we're tentative to talk about this, right? Like, it's still one season, right? Like a lot of stuff can happen in one season, but I think to have him around that conversation, who we got at 10? Who would be around that? That's like Goff, Dak.
That's Goff, Dak, Kirk, Kyler,
Tua.
all in that area.
I don't think it's. Am I gonna confidently put him in there? No, but am I
Even
like
Trevor
I'm
Lawrence
okay.
Even Trevor Lawrence is at like 7, 8. So you can
I'm
try
cool
to
to have the I'm cool to have the conversation. I could see why you have him up there. This year he's playing probably like a top 7, top 5 quarterback. He's playing very well right now. But yeah, at the end of the season, I guess it also depends. If he leads him to the playoffs, to be honest, yes, I'll put him in. Like I think you have. I don't know, with how bad we all thought that team was gonna be. I think everyone had them down as a easy last place team. I thought everyone had the Cardinals getting 2 high draft picks this year because the Texans were going to be terrible. The receiving core was terrible. I remember everyone talked about like who's going to be the best guy, probably Robert Woods. Robert Woods hasn't done anything, but they've still had a great receiving core with Noah Brown, Nico, and Tank Dell. But I don't think it's been a breakout from them. I think like Stroud has unlocked them. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's like to have the conversation is, I think you have to have it just because of how he's been playing. But like you got to give him props for doing it with how bad that team is. D'Amico Ryans too, got to give him props for coaching. But like he's been pulling out good wins. I think it's like, yeah, I don't think I'd confidently put him in the top 10, but like he's definitely in that conversation.
You got to look at the team he's on, and like you said, the receivers: Nico Collins, Noah Brown, Tank Dell, Robert Woods. These are all like sub 6 foot receivers. They're not known as big body guys. They're mostly like almost gadget guys, small guys, fast guys, whatever. So he's not getting easy completions, throwing it up and hoping like an AJ Brown comes down with it, or whoever, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, whoever it is not no big body guy. So like you kind of see that takes a hit on his like completion percentage because he's at 61, but that's just receiver talent plus him being a rookie. This is the first time he's seeing things, so he's missing throws and whatnot. But if you put him like, and again, it's hard to just swap around situations. But if you put him with doing this with this cast of players, imagine you put him around with like you just
the Lions. Put him on the Lions. Put him on the Lions. I'm telling you, put him on the Lions. With the
he'll do exactly what Jared
Goff
Goff is
doing. Receivers. Thank you. He's good.
I mean, he's not playing with an offensive line. He's playing with wide receiver 3s, wide receiver 4s. Dalton Schultz has been great for him because tight ends are usually the quarterback's best friend. Dalton Schultz was great for Dak Prescott. Why wouldn't he be great for CJ Stroud? He makes everything easy. He's like a safety net. He's doing a lot of things. If he gets to the playoffs, he should be in the top 10 quarterback conversation. Like he should be in there firm. Joe Burrow, I understand his first full year playing. He went to the Super Bowl, so he definitely became a top 5 quarterback with that. But if CJ Stroud does it with this cast of players, a bad Texans team, just how Joe Burrow did it with a bad Bengals team, you got to at least put him in the top 10. Like, just based off the physicals and what I've seen from him in bad situations when everything's stacked against him, he's done better things than I've seen from Tua. Not from a number standpoint, but just like uplifting his situation. So I definitely think he should be in that 10. I said he was better than Dak Prescott. I don't really believe that as of today, but just based off, future things going on and, since he's young, he's going to grow exponentially. He can be better than Dak Prescott by Thanksgiving next year. So he definitely should be in that top 10 conversation.
I'm only taking like 8 quarterbacks over C.J. Stroud right now today. Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Lamar, Hurts, Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, Kirk Cousins. After that, Aaron Rodgers injured, so I'm not including him in this. Kyler Murray is coming off. Aaron Rodgers.
Kirk Cousins isn't better than Dak Prescott.
No, I think he is. Well, I think he is. Over the last 2 seasons, he's been better than him. Am I lying?
Dak Prescott was injured basically last season, so his numbers took a hit. And this year, he's playing just as good as Kirk Cousins was playing.
I think what Kirk was doing for me without Jettis was more impressive. I feel like personally.
You've seen him for a game and a half without Jettis.
Yeah, but his offensive line also wasn't playing well when he had Jettis, right? And remember that
Dallas
game,
offensive line not playing that well this year either.
He was facing a lot of pressure against the Eagles in that one.
Sorry,
game.
what's the conversation? Sorry,
we're talking about right now. We're talking about because I had Kirk over Dak Prescott as a quarterback, and that's what me and Q are talking about right now. So
okay.
what I see week in week out from Kirk with a growing offensive line because they got better throughout the course of the season, but especially against the Eagles, he put like 400 yards on them, kept him in that game. Jettis goes down, and he plays amazing without Jettis. A lot of credit goes to Kevin O'Connor, but it's like
O'Connell,
Kevin O'Connell, whatever, Kevin O'Connell. Kirk and Dak are close. I think CJ is right in there too. With CJ, man, you making a lot of noise, Max. But
sorry. I was trying to reset myself.
CJ, Kirk, and Dak are all in that same tier for me. Obviously, we project. I'm gonna go take CJ over both of them. But what I see from Kirk before he went down is I had Kirk over Dak. You know what I'm saying? Before he went down, I did. Kirk was playing like an MVP before he went down. That's what I did, and he played over last season. Last season he played better than him, and I know Dak was injured. But I think some of them interceptions we've seen were not because of his injury. Also, we're gonna give him credit for going crazy against the Bucks in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? We have to, we do. We give Dak credit for
that, but the last time you've seen Kirk Cousins in the playoffs, he did not perform how Dak Prescott performed in the playoffs. Well, that was also off injury. Second of all, going into this season, you've seen a sample size of 5 games where he didn't marketably play better than Dak Prescott, and Dak Prescott has been playing amazing since that 49ers game. There's no real differentiating factor. There's not no real big gap, and Dak Prescott numbers you shatter. Historically, since Dak Prescott came in the league, he's been better than Kirk Cousins. It's not nothing that he's done. So if you're gonna take him over take him over Dak, you got to take him over Kirk. They're the same player. If you would have said Kyler Murray, I'm all cool with that because Kyler Murray as a talent is better than both of them. He's just coming off an injury. But saying Kirk over Dak, that's almost baffling. They're the same exact player.
Right now, Kirk, how many games has Kirk missed now? 2?
3.
3. Yeah.
And 3. He's missed 3 games.
He missed 2.
Okay, he's missed 2 games.
It's 2.5 or whatever he got injured in. Yeah,
2.5. Let's say 2.5, right? Okay, whatever.
Maybe 3. No,
okay, so let's say he missed 2 games. In 2 games, he played 2 less games than Dak Prescott. He has more touchdowns than him and less interceptions. So
I do agree. I think if
that's also due to him being in shootouts. Dak Prescott has played on teams that have blown teams out.
That's true.
He's gotten defensive touchdowns, special teams touchdowns. So he doesn't. If those don't happen, Dak Prescott still has to go out and get those points. To say he wouldn't get half 20 points of that 40-point 40-0 game against the Giants is disingenuous because we know he can do it because you just seen him do it again. Don't you think if they didn't get those special teams touchdowns, Dak Prescott gives the Giants another 300+ yard performance like he does historically, his numbers would be shattering a lot of other players if his team wasn't blowing teams out with a great defense.
But I don't think it's disingenuous to say that like Kirk is on a team where he has to do more to keep them competitive in games in regards to what Dak has to do is keep them competitive in games.
And in the beginning of the year, when he was doing a lot, he was losing games. He was throwing interceptions and fumbling in the fourth quarters and on money downs, and that's how they were losing. You only blame one loss on Dak Prescott, and that's the 49ers game. Those early losses were on Kirk Cousins in money time.
But I feel like they're also in the game because of him because how bad their defense is as well. You know what I'm saying? Like Kirk is the reason they're there. You can say that he's the reason they lost it, but he's the reason they're there in the first place. Like
I want to say
and that's what I tried to explain to y'all about this Vikings team, that they're going to be in it because they're going to be able to score points. As you can see now, without Kirk Cousins, they're able to score points because they have an offense and they have a good offensive head coach.
Josh Dobbs is probably top 3 MVP candidate. Like, nope.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying.
No, I'm saying
Josh Dobbs has actually been great.
Are we blaming all the like when the Vikings are losing in the beginning of the season? Was it all directly on Kirk Cousins? Because like in the game against the Eagles, he threw like 400 yards.
Oh no, I'm not blaming that on him. Dak Prescott did the same thing to the Eagles. I already said this. The Eagles, you could throw on the Eagles. Anybody's doing that. Any top 15 quarterback is basically putting up those same numbers against the Eagles secondary. So I don't also take that into no high account. You can put numbers up. That's not.
Tua didn't really do that.
Huh?
I don't think Tua really did that.
I'm not a really Tua guy. Like
that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying. I just thought about that. Like Mac Jones, Mac Jones score more?
He had a great game against the Eagles. Great game. Yeah. His best game of the season.
I do remember
last touchdown was a defensive touchdown.
I do remember we did the Would You Rather with C.J. Stroud. I think you took Kirk right now, but you took C.J. as far as the potential, right?
Yeah. This game is also.
But you took C.J. over Dak though. You did.
I don't think I did.
You did.
I don't think I did.
I'm gonna go to. I'm gonna go to the video real quick.
Someone's wrong here. And it's not me.
I think he did. Let's see this. Here you go.
Max act. He was like, "Yo, I got a question for you." He asked me a question, and then before he asked the question, I said, "No, I'm not taking CJ Stroud over Dak Prescott."
Yeah. Okay. I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, was he not? Was he not in it?
I remember him saying that.
I thought Max was going to ask me about Dak
because I was going to ask. I asked AR or CJ, and he thought I was going to say Dak. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, I didn't take CJ Stroud over Dak.
My bad.
If I take Kirk Cousins, I have to take Dak.
I saw you. You said it.
If I don't take Dak, I can't take Kirk Cousins. They're the same exact player with this almost not the same circumstance, but they have the same type of things going against them. And the same
I agree, but I would take Kirk over Dak. I agree though, but I would take Kirk over Dak.
You said it in the Discord. You said it in the Discord. That's why I thought about that. You said it in the Discord. That's why I thought.
It wasn't Discord.
He said that CJ was better than Dak in the Discord. All right, let's move on to Kyler Murray returning back from injury after tearing his ACL midseason last year. Returning back from injury, and he hooped. I'm not gonna lie. Let the Cardinals still win. He played great, especially for a returning player. He got Trey McBride involved. Thank God. Thankfully he did.
The worst thing is Latif acting like he's this like fantasy god because he picked up the 2 biggest waiver wire ads for the week. T. Higgins is out, so he picks up Tyler Boyd, and everybody says, "Oh, Trey McBride."
Tyler Boyd been on my team. Tyler Boyd been on my team, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. No, what you talking about? He was not on the waiver wire. Let's we talking about fantasy though. Max is 2-8.
I'm not
3-8, whatever.
I'm 3-6. What are we talking about?
You're 3-7, bro. You're 3-7 or something like that. You're
3-6. 3-6. Dalton Kincaid's going off for 40 tonight. 3-6.
Okay.
I'll be 4-6.
All right, cool.
You're pretty close to me. What are you talking about? You're what? You're 5-4?
6-4. I won already, bro.
Oh, that's close. All right, so 2-2.
All right. Anyways, all right. Let's say you the Cardinals GM right now. Are you sticking with Kyler Murray, or come draft time, you drafting Caleb Williams?
they're not gonna get Caleb Williams.
Let's go under the guys that getting Caleb Williams or a top quarterback. Or whatever.
Can I go? Actually, can I go first? I'm gonna be biased. I love Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray is one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league. Super fun to watch. That year with D Hop, what was it? Last year or 2 years ago when they got like a 4-0, 5-0 start. I thought that was like the breaking out of Kyler Murray. Obviously, did not happen yet. They have two potential top 10 picks. Wherever the Texans end up, that's a later round pick. You got two high picks. I think for this year, it's a lot, but I think you keep Kyler Murray. I think you can get Marv, or you can get an elite offensive lineman, and you can build around what you can keep James Conner as running back. That's fine. He's been serviceable for them. You keep Kyler as Michael Wilson as like a 2. You still have Marquise Brown. Trey McBride's played okay. You still have Zach Ertz, who's injured, who can come back. If you can get Marv, or if you can get Joe Alt, or is Joe Alt the guy from Penn State? Am I tweaking?
No, that's Olu.
Yeah, Joe Alt from Notre Dame. The guy from Penn State is Olu. That's the better tackle.
Okay. So either way, you get it. You can get an O lineman. I don't think the Texans will be bad enough to where you get 2 top 5s like the Bears. So you can go later in the draft. To be honest, if you want to go later in the draft, you get your offensive lineman. Go get Keon Coleman. Get some mid-round wide receiver in that. You could get whatever. Give it that Texans pick. I think you can still build around Kyler. I think the teams that you have with you, obviously San Fran will be San Fran forever. The Rams are on a decline. I think the Seahawks are on a decline unless they find a quarterback. I think they have an opportunity here. I think Kyler Murray is a good enough quarterback. When he plays well, he plays like a top 10 quarterback. I think it's good enough right now. I think you just move with it. Worst comes to worst, I guess you trade Kyler Murray and go draft Caleb Williams. But I think you could definitely build around Kyler Murray, get a lineman or Marv, whoever you want, and go from there. They have the offensive pieces to have a capable offense. Jonathan Gannon, I don't know, coaching-wise, I thought they were going to be decent when Josh Dobbs started winning some football games. That turned south really quick. So I'm not so sure about the coaching thing. I think you can redo that. But I do think that there's what?
Jonathan Gannon has been great this year. Jonathan Gannon has been great this year.
Their offense went down because James Conner went down. So once they weren't able to run the ball, that's when things started to kind of get
lost everything because then they trade Dobbs. But defensively, to be honest, I don't even know what they have going for him. They trade Isaiah Simmons. They still got Buddha, but I think it's just like a lot of, not trying to be disrespectful, but like a lot of no names. I don't know a lot of guys in their defense. But I do think that there's ability for you to keep Kyler and move on with him. Obviously, Caleb Williams, a flashy pick. There's a lot of that. I don't know if he's going to come back or he's trying to play that quick game or play the mysterious card where like he doesn't know if he's going to come back or he wants ownership in the team. I don't know. You can just cut through all that, keep Kyler, and stick with getting an offensive weapon and moving from there. I think it's not a bad idea.
They have a lot of ways to go. Like for the internet, yeah, you take Caleb Williams, he's a generational prospect, yada yada yada, get what you can get for Kyler Murray. But if it was me, like if they was gonna do this Caleb Williams thing, they should have traded Kyler if they could, possibly early on. Like I thought before Sam Howell, started playing real well, I would have thought that was a nice spot for him to go. You could have got Chase Young off of them, maybe a Montez Sweat or one of the 2D tackles and like a first or second round pick from them. Then really, put somebody on that defense or build around. But if you're gonna keep Kyler, that pick probably ends up like, you could probably get the third pick. Like you said, get a Marvin Harrison Jr. But if you want to go all out and just build this team out crazy, see what happens. If you don't get Marvin Harrison Jr. at like third or fourth, trade down. If you could trade down and get some team's best corner or best edge rusher and probably another pick. That other pick you could trade, you could use that to get your tackle, get your weapon, and just start building the team from there. You're going to have a bunch of seconds, bunch of thirds, just fill it with weapons, young corners, young edge rushers, young wide receivers, and do what you got to do. It's Kyler. He's probably the best quarterback in the division by talent. I understand Matt Stafford healthy just won a Super Bowl, but he wasn't better than Kyler Murray 2 years ago. Kyler Murray was playing better than him. He just got hurt.
They also have all those picks from the Texans from last year. They still got that. They still got that first. Yeah, they also got more picks from that too.
You use the Texans pick. So this is probably going to be 10 or lower. Use that pick to go get a wide receiver because Marvin Harrison Jr. is great. But if you put all your eggs in that basket, you might, it might not pan out. But if you get another good wide receiver, yeah, exactly. You got Rome, Keon Coleman, you got Johnny Wilson, whoever's down there.
Is Ibuka entering the draft or no?
Huh?
Is Emeka Ibuka entering the
draft?
draft?
He's probably going to go lower. He's probably going to go like late teens. Whatever that Texas pick is, use that to get your wide receiver because the receiver room is like receiver draft is loaded. And it's Kyler Murray. Like he can get anybody the ball, get your tackle and or your edge rusher. If you could go to Denver and get Patrick Surtain from Denver for a first round pick, that's exactly what you do. It's still Kyler Murray, but I understand the generational prospect of Caleb Williams, but we don't know for a fact that's going to work. We know for a fact Kyler Murray works in the league. We've seen it. He has to fix his intangibles, but as a talent, there's not 10 quarterbacks that I know that's better than him in the league right now today.
Right now, they have the 4th pick, so I'm not going to lie. The possibility of getting Caleb Williams is not great, like you said. But I guess the question should have been, should they drive the quarterback or keep Kyler Murray? I personally would keep Kyler Murray and build around him. Try to build around him because you drive Caleb Williams coming into the situation, it's going to be a lot worse than what Kyler Murray will put on the field for you. With your first pick, what you should do is draft the edge rusher. Draft Jared Verse. You just drafted Perry Jones last year, so you just spent a pick on the top offensive lineman. Try to go get one in the 2nd or 3rd round, something like that. You can find great offensive linemen later in the draft. Draft Jared Verse, and with your 2nd pick from the Texans, wherever that lands, they're probably going to land somewhere on 15 or like 17 or something like that.
Get your wide receiver.
See if you could draft Keon Coleman. That's the plan of action for this team. Edge rusher, wide receiver 2nd. That's what the Cardinals should do. I like the idea of them getting Marvin, but now that Kyler Murray's back, they won't be getting the top 3 pick. They just won't be. Right now they are 2-8. They're sitting at the 4th spot. And then Chicago has 5. So I could honestly see them winning about 4 games.
They could be like, I think 8, 9, 10. 7, 8, 9, 10 around there. I think 4 or 5.
Yeah, I'm saying like they win like 4 games, probably 4 or 5 games. Green Bay's trending in the wrong direction. Chicago is not getting better, but they own a number 1 pick right now. So I can't wait. We're gonna do draft content a little later. Yeah, it's a little bit too early still.
Who do you guys think gets number 1?
The Bears.
I don't think we do.
The Bears.
I don't think so.
Why would
the Panthers aren't going to win more than 2 games the rest of the season?
I think the Panthers could sneak out a win against some of their division guys. I don't think the Giants do. I think the Giants get absolutely skunked the rest of the year. The Giants are bad.
They can definitely land it. And the Patriots, they think they can land it, but Bill Belichick's not going to go out there and actively.
I was going to say, I think they'll sneak out a weird win against Buffalo or against the Jets or something.
If the Giants get the number 1 pick, they're drafting Caleb Williams, and they looking it's over for Daniel Jones.
Who's trading? Who are you trading Daniel Jones to? Who is honestly taking Daniel Jones' terrible contract?
They ain't gonna trade him.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna eat the money? You gotta cut him at least.
You gotta cut him.
Terrible.
They can cut him. They can cut him out of.
It's worth it.
They can cut him in 2025. So they'll have to pay him for 1 year and then cut him for $22 million in 2025. Now,
I honestly do think that they get it. I think the Bears go with their O-line receiver route, and I think the Giants get.
Bro, that's my next question, dude. That was my next question. This is kind of off topic, but let's say the Bears get the 2nd pick. You take Marvin, and then you take O-lineman, and stay with Justin Fields.
It's okay, especially with Montez Sweat. The biggest issue secondary.
Second.
If we get 2 and 3, let's just say hypothetically we get 2 and 3 or something like that. But yeah, I'd probably say our biggest. Yeah, I don't know. I think we'll lose a couple more games, but also win 2 more. So I think we'll be out of the conversation. But
I'm a Fields guy, but you probably move on Field. If they get a number 1,
I don't want Drake May.
If they get the number 1, they take Caleb. I wouldn't take Drake May over Justin Fields. I wouldn't do it. But I understand why people would think they would do it. I wouldn't do it. I'd only move off of this Caleb Williams.
The biggest issue for us, currently, I guess it's quarterback, obviously, but It's defensive health. Like our secondary is always injured. Jaquan, Eddie Jackson, Kyler Gordon. Like people just get injured all the time. So Jalen Johnson, we were supposed to trade him. We didn't. I assume we might trade him this offseason if we don't sign him. If we can get contracts work, I guess we'll keep him. But we need to look at that. Like I would not be surprised if we went like Marv and try to get like Kool-Aid McKinstry or something. Like if we try and go for like a DB. Signing Sweat helps. We have our linebackers down. I don't think we'll re-sign Yannick Ngakoue. I think he's just kind of like a one-year rental. So I don't know. I think there is a world, I think, where we address DB. We have a lot of youth there already, but just with injuries, I think having depth would be pretty essential. But yeah, I think like I would not be surprised if we do stick with Fields and then we do some combination of O-line, receiver, O-line, DB, receiver.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Y'all gonna see about Drake May. Y'all. I'm letting you know right now. Y'all will see.
Hopefully,
Drake May.
I'm just. That's cool.
You're saying that like I watched Drake May. That just because I watched him,
I'm not
automatically put him in. It's nothing to see. I know what he is. I wouldn't take his college tape. I wouldn't take his college tape over what I've seen from Justin Fields' college tape. Like I wouldn't.
There's something about the Bears drafting a UNC quarterback at 2 that I just don't love. So I'm not really feeling that right now.
Drake
I
May,
don't want Mitch Trubisky 2.0 again.
Drake May is gonna be that next cyborg QB. I just want to tell you that.
That'd be good. I got nothing against the guy. Like I have nothing against the guy, but like right now, I'll stick with Fields. Like I'm debating if I still want Fields over Caleb. So. Or if I want Caleb over Fields, I don't even know if I want that. Like,
that's
I might
ridiculous.
Fields over anybody.
That's ridiculous. See, that's ridiculous, and that's the problem with Bears fans. That's why y'all. That's why
I've been flip flopping the entire year.
What Justin Fields has not played.
Right
Justin Fields has not played in like 4 weeks, bro, or like 3 weeks or something like that. So I don't know. But
Caleb Williams lost what, like 4 or 5 games in college right now?
That has nothing. That he's played one. He played back 2 games. Yeah, that's not his fault.
He's playing great. Like I'm not trying to. Yeah, he's been playing great. I'm just
wins don't matter that much when it comes to like
evaluating with how bad their defense is. With how bad their defense is too. Like if he could win one of those games, it'd be amazing.
Drake May gonna be Justin Herbert-esque.
What team do you think? What team do you think gets him?
Hopefully not the
Patriots.
Giants.
The Patriots.
It might be. It's gonna be the Giants. It's gonna be the Giants or the Patriots.
Oh my God.
If the Giants get the number 1 pick based on history, they might just take Drake May. They might do it.
They actually might.
I don't know. Do you honestly think? I think if the Patriots get 1, they go Caleb. Do you honestly think they go Drake May?
No.
The Patriots get 1, they're going Caleb. I think if the Giants get 1,
no. If the Patriots get like 2, right? Drake May or Caleb Williams off. Do they draft Drake May?
Yes.
Yeah, not talking to
sure. They have to draft quarterback.
Yeah.
There's nobody in the Patriots room who's like, maybe Mac Jones still has another year.
There's probably somebody in the room saying that, but they're not going to listen to that person in the room.
Okay.
Like that person won't. They probably will fire that person in the room.
All right, let's get on to our next topic. 49ers dominate the Jaguars. I think it was like 38-3, was it? Or
something like that.
Yeah.
Might have been worse, honestly. Let's talk about the 49ers. Are they back? They got a lot more healthy. Debo back, right? Debo back.
Yeah, Debo is back.
Trent Williams back. CMC is healthy. Coming off the bye week. Are they back to being a number 1, number 2 contender in the NFC?
Sure. I was gonna say I shook my head no. Like I didn't mean to cut you off. I shook my head no. I didn't want that to seem like they're not back. They're all healthy. It's fine. The Jags, we talked about this, have like the worst passing defense in the NFL. They suck on the pass, and they got dotted up by Brock Purdy in like a great passing attack. So like this game does not really move me that much.
With the Jags having a bad secondary, it seems that way. Like their secondary is not great, but it only seems as worse as it is because they have usually shut down teams for the most part in the first half. So a lot of the times they're getting getting thrown on in the back half of the game, to try and come back and get a win. So everybody's throwing the ball, whatever. So yeah, it looks like they getting carved up. But with the 49ers, as you can see clearly, it was most likely just an injury thing. Like everybody was banged up, so they couldn't perform to their standard. Especially the QB. Like I said, especially when you got system quarterbacks or quarterbacks that are most likely game managers. if everything is not perfect, it's going to be hard for those teams to win games. And everything wasn't perfect, so it was hard for them teams to win games when they don't got specialized quarterback. That's all it is. But if everybody's there, clearly they could steamroll a lot of teams, just like how you've seen the Jags they just ran into a buzzsaw. They didn't really see a team that's complete like this all year. They in for a culture shock. That's just what it is. 49ers didn't really go anywhere. They were just getting people back, off IR, whatever, rest, whatever it is, injuries. They should be, as long as they're healthy for the rest of the year, you're gonna pick them to be in the NFC Championship again.
Yeah, I think we started to lose 3 straight games, and they, I never really lost faith in them. I still think they could possibly go to the Super Bowl, even with Brock Purdy. But it's gonna take a lot because the Eagles are rolling right now. But I really want to talk more about the Jaguars, and I don't think the Jaguars are a serious contender. I just don't. There's so many teams in the AFC that they are not better than. Their offense is not moving how it should be. When coming into this year, I picked Trevor Lawrence as my dark horse MVP candidate, and he barely has 10 touchdowns. So I don't know what's going on.
And he's part of the problem. I didn't mean to cut you off, but since Trevor Lawrence is this generational quarterback, and we expect him to be so great, we don't look too much into him. We look to the situation. Oh, it was Urban Meyer. Obviously, it was Urban Meyer. Early on, it was Press Taylor. Now it's the secondary is bad, yada yada yada. But they got a great run defense. They were shutting teams down in the first half. Trevor Lawrence has not been good. You know what I mean? He just he got 9 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. I think something like that. And he got a bunch of fumbles. It's not looking good. Like, he's playing more game manager. Maybe his yards is great, but I'm looking at it right now. He is a turnover machine. However that is, whatever the cause maybe, for that is, he's just not holding on to the ball. Calvin Ridley's not playing great either, but he himself has not been this great quarterback to uplift the team over their certain type of struggles. Go ahead.
I'm going first, Max, because I cut off. But like I said, coming to the season though, I thought the Jaguars were a sneaky AFC championship type team. I thought Trevor Lawrence was going to be an MVP candidate. It has not panned out like that at all, bro. Like, the defense is still terrible. I thought it might got a little bit better, but it hasn't. They are very, very easy to score on. And come to the AFC playoffs, they're going to get scored on a lot. So I just don't believe in this team anymore. I don't believe they can sneak into the AFC championship. If they see Buffalo again, not so sure how they'll beat them. I'll pick the Bengals over them. I'll pick the Ravens over them. I can see, like, if the Browns are going to upset any team in the playoffs, it's going to be the Jaguars. Like, it's anything like that could happen. I'm not confident at all. At the great, actually last year Trevor Lawrence came on the last 9 weeks, so we got to see. Possibly he can come on again this year. Maybe he's just like a second half of the season playoff type player, second half type player. So we're gonna have to see. But as of right now, I don't believe the Jaguars are a serious team. I'm just not believing them at all as a contender. They could be like a first round exit, and I wouldn't be shocked.
I think I called him a pretender, but I don't like. I don't know. You can go back, I guess. Maybe I forgot. I've never really been wowed by this team yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, last year in the playoffs, now, like, the comeback last year versus Chargers was cool, but, like, I don't think I've been yet to be wowed by this team. Like, the offense does not look like it's high-powered enough to, like, counteract the fact that their defense lets in points. So, I don't know. I'm not going to say I'm surprised. Like, 34-3 is bad. But, like, I think it's kind of a little bit like they look young. They look inexperienced. That's about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think they should have been in the same conversations as the Chiefs, as the Ravens, as San Fran, whoever else you want to say. But we did our contenders, pretenders, and I think we both called them pretenders.
Are we talking about, like, coming into the season, they shouldn't have been in the same conversation as the Ravens?
No, the past couple of weeks, I think we've had
this
conversation. I just don't think they've been playing that standard.
Okay, because early season, they got Calvin Ridley, who has not been great. He hasn't been great. We thought Calvin Ridley was going to come in and tear it up. He looked great in the preseason. He looked great through the first few weeks. He had some good games. But I don't know. I thought they were going to be a lot better than what they were coming into the season.
Etienne just got shut down. Like, their defense just killed Etienne. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, Etienne.
What, 6.4 fantasy points?
I'm glad I traded him.
Shout out Teddy.
Shout out JT and Saquon, man.
Don't say glad you traded him. He's been balling out besides last game.
Yeah, that's true. But
I
still got.
He's put up like 25 every other week besides this week.
I still got my boy. He on IR right now. Be coming back with a vengeance.
Yeah, so your team relies on him.
All right. Anyways, let's move on to the Week 11 power rankings. This is our last football topic of the show. We always do this collectively. So I actually don't have my 10 right now, so I'm gonna need your help. I know I have the Eagles at number 1. They're the best team in the NFL right now. Y'all correct?
That's
I have the Chiefs at number 2. Is that fine for everybody?
Yes, I was gonna say I would probably put them 1, but that's cool. I'm not really gonna fight it.
The Chiefs 1?
I'm putting Patrick Mahomes 1. Like, I'm sorry. If it's close and everything, I'm putting Patrick Mahomes 1. I get the
Didn't
Cowboys wins good. Yes, that's fine. They lost the Broncos last week.
Yeah, the last time they played, lost to the Broncos, right? Or they
bad week. Yeah.
yeah.
I think you're right. Yes. Just a bad week.
Nah, with the Chiefs.
No, they beat the Dolphins last time.
Last game.
Beat the Dolphins last time.
No, they beat the yeah. I said the last time they played, they beat the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I still got KC 1, but that's fine. The Philly 1, KC 2 is fine.
3 got the 49ers.
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
The Ravens got 4. I got the Ravens at 4.
Yes. I said we can't have them dropping off that much. I'm sorry, that was a close game. Like, I'm not really mad at them for losing that. Browns are a good team.
And now this is where I am lost. I don't know who's fine. Well, this is where I'm lost.
Don't say Dallas. Don't say Dallas. Don't give me Dallas. Don't give me Dallas.
I personally think if Dallas and Detroit face today, I'm going Dallas. But if you want to go Detroit at 5, fine. But I think if Detroit and Dallas play, Dallas' defense is going to have a way easier time stopping them than obviously what they're going to do to the Cowboys.
It's not Miami. It's not Buffalo. It's not the Jags. Texans,
it's between the Lions
I agree.
and the Cowboys.
I agree. I think it is those two teams.
Yeah, I'll go Cowboys. I'll go Cowboys to Q. So we can put the Cowboys at 5. I'll go Cowboys.
So
Line 6.
So
Line 6.
Detroit at 6. Now this is where it gets a little dicey. Because do you like the Browns?
Cleveland?
Do you like the Browns more than you like the Steelers? Do you want Miami to still hold their spot?
I don't even know
around that 10 because they have looked bad against top teams.
I might be disrespectful. I don't even know if I have still the Steelers top 10.
I
get their 6. Huh?
The Steelers aren't a top 10 team.
I'm not putting them up there. I think I might put Cleveland up here. I think it's like Cleveland, Miami. Buffalo is still up there. Like, they're not there yet, but they are like first team out. Like, I'm still putting in the conversation before I put Cleveland in the conversation. Again, just because they have Josh Allen. Seattle? Are we putting Seattle anywhere up here or no?
No. That's it. If at 7, I think it's either Miami.
I'm surprised you're not saying Minnesota.
No. They don't have no.
I feel like you'd be a bit.
If I say Minnesota, I might as well say Buffalo. Because I think Buffalo was the first 5 and 14 to get disrespected. Like, and obviously they got disrespected at 5 and 4. So it was kind of weird when people think the Bengals are like some people had Bengals in their top 3 power rankings. They just barely got up there. Like, they've been struggling. They just got basically embarrassed at home. Not embarrassed in terms of score, but late game they just got out executed. So I don't think
7
you the top 18.
7 you guys got Cleveland or Miami because 8 will probably be the other one.
I'd go Cleveland. That's a number 1. That's the best defense in the league.
Defense. It's just so dependent on Deshaun. But their offense, I think, is more stable.
They just beat the Ravens. They just beat the Ravens.
Yeah. The Brown that's fair. The Browns' offense is better than better than the Dolphins' defense.
That's literally like I don't even know if that's true. It's like
I don't know if that's true, but I think the Cleveland's defense is so good that it doesn't even really matter what they do on offense because they're gonna always have short field.
All right, okay.
The Dolphins just no, never mind. The Chiefs are a good defense. Dolphins just almost didn't score the Chiefs until garbage.
Dolphins at 8, y'all.
Yeah, Dolphins at 8.
Y'all.
Dolphins at 8.
Yeah.
9. Who we got? Bills. Well, let's assume the Bills. Let's see.
Jaguars.
Okay.
Jaguars.
Bengals at 10.
Jaguars. At number 10, who we got?
Cincinnati. The Bengals.
No. Stop.
If you got Cincinnati, then based off that, then you got to put
New Orleans?
No.
With Jameis, they're
New Orleans
top
is
5.
5-5.
New Orleans
Anyways,
with
not
Jameis
trolling.
is top 5.
Listen,
They
since
almost
we
beat-
doing
they
this,
almost came back.
since we're doing this before Monday
What are you
Night
gonna say?
Football, it's either
We're assuming the Bills win. We're assuming the Bills win. I'm not gonna.
if we assume the Bills win, I'm gonna put the Bills at 10. But it's cool. It's cool. It might be cool to sneak some Vikings love into there at number 12. I mean, at number 10.
But how are we gonna put the Bills in there if the Bengals just beat them like last week?
They'd have a better record.
Huh?
They've had a better record. But you also just tried to put the Bengals
by
in there.
one game.
The Houston Texans just beat them, but you're not putting the Houston Texans at 10.
They have the same record, right?
Yeah, but they beat them.
Yeah, but there was just stuff that was that was a cheat. They cheated. That's not a real game.
Anyways, so
we making excuses.
Give me the Bengals at 10. Give me the Bengals at 10.
Nah, I think the Texans have a better case to me at 10 than the Bengals. All right,
No.
They just beat them. They just beat them, bro. What do
you just said that the reason why the Bengals are over the Bills is because they beat them. But the team that just beat the Bengals.
How many of these teams beat San Fran? 0. And San Fran's up there. I legitimately, I'm joking, but I legitimately
that's
have the
their
Bengals
one
above
good
both
win.
teams.
They have one
I
good
do
win.
have them above both teams.
No, they have a good win against the Bills too. The Bills are a good win.
I'm joking, but I'm serious. I probably would put the Bengals above both. I get it with the reasoning and stuff, but I would probably put them above both.
I wouldn't. I had the Vikings at 10 before I had the Bengals at 10.
I think you replay the Bengals-Bills game, the Bengals still win. You replay the Texans-Bengals game, I think the Bengals win.
But that's
not how it works.
That's
how it's going in my head right now. If it's a one-game playoff, I'm taking the Bengals over both teams. I get it. They literally just lost, but
if that's the
it's
case,
still
if that's the case, then you would put the Bengals in 5, and you'd put the Bills at 5 or 6. If it's just one game.
Yeah, that's not how power rankings work.
I don't hate that idea. Q, I don't hate that idea, man. I don't hate that idea, Q. Don't hate that idea.
You should.
Don't hate that
idea.
Who do you got
at Q? Who do you got at 10, Q?
I go to Vikings. I'll be hot.
No, bro.
Why is Seattle on this conversation? Because they got killed by Baltimore?
The Vikings beat the Saints, bro. The Vikings beat the Saints.
Oh, no, he's terrible. But, I'm just saying, as far as other teams, if we're just picking the worst of these teams, or the worst teams, I don't think the Vikings are leaps and bounds ahead of the Seahawks. The Seahawks are probably better than the Vikings, in my opinion.
No, the Seahawks are better than the Vikings. The Vikings have Josh Dobbs at quarterback, bro. Respectfully.
He's been playing good. It's their defense that still scares me.
The Vikings are 6-4. That's ridiculous.
Crazy.
What we doing, bro? I'm trying to get this segment over with because I actually don't know who I got at 10 right now. This is crazy.
Just put Buffalo 10. It's fine.
If they win, if we assuming they win, then we put in Buffalo 10.
Okay, yeah, they're gonna win tonight. We can put the Bills at 10.
How far are the Chargers for you guys? Out of contention? 15?
Bro, anyways. All right, man.
How far? How far are they? Jeez.
Next man up, week 11 power rankings. At number 10, we have the Bills. At number 9, we have the Jaguars. At number 8, we have the Dolphins. At number 7, we have the Browns. At number 6, we have the Lions. At number 5, we have the Cowboys. At number 4, we have the Ravens. At number 3, we have the 49ers. At number 2, we have the Chiefs. And number 1, we have the Eagles. That's a solid 10. It's a lot of at the back half of that, it gets crazy because a lot of teams right now are about 6-4, 6-3, 7-3. So it's really, really hard to make a top 10 list right now in the NFL for quarterbacks, for teams, especially at the middle of the season. All right, that's enough for NFL. Let's really talk about the NBA because I got a lot to say. The Clippers start 0-5 without James Harden. The question is here, who is the biggest reason for this Clippers 0-5 start with James Harden after the trade?
I'm going to go with Lawrence Frank in the front office because they stuck around with this roster and this belief that with Paul George and Kawhi and you throw whoever next to them that they're going to go out there and compete for a championship. It looked cool 2019, 2020 when they first got together. They choked out. You feel me? Whatever. Second year, it looked good again till Kawhi went down. They made a WCF. I think that's when they really missed their chance. But after that, it's been downhill, and they just been trying to bank on health, come April. I don't think, as you can see, based off history, it hasn't worked. They tried to Russell Westbrook came, he looked good in the in the postseason, but he was still only in the postseason with one guy. That went the same way it's always went with injury. So I think we got to stop putting all the eggs in the basket of Kawhi and or Paul George. James Harden that move wasn't a fix it all move. Like, it wasn't going to fix the issues because they still can't defend and they can't rebound. Zubac is not really a high level starting caliber center. The roster isn't isn't as together as it was once before. Ty Lue still does a great coaching job, but sometimes the coach can only go so far. But you still need execution and you need your players out there, most of the time, if not all the time. And it's just like, it shouldn't be a James Harden thing. He's coming in there trying to help the situation, but he doesn't help the things that they need help in. So I think this is a front office problem because they just chose to double and triple down on a move that they should have moved off of a year or two ago.
Go ahead, Max. I got a lot.
I don't really have much to say. I don't really got much to say. I don't think it's Harden's fault. I don't think you're really blaming the players right now. It's you got to learn how to play together. Last time Russ and Harden played together, they're both top 25, 30 players. It's obviously not the case right now. You got to learn how to play with each other when you play differently. Like, Harden's not the same scorer he used to be. Russ is not the same point guard he used to be. So it's just different roles. I think PG is like the most seamless fit with all these guys, right? He can just shoot and play defense. Like, he's the easiest person to play with out of these guys. But like, you have so many ball dominant guys. Obviously, Kawhi creates. He creates with the ball. He needs it. Harden and Russ both create with the ball. Like, it's tough. I just think you're not going to figure it out in the first couple of games. Like, it's not going to work. It's not an all-star game, right? Like, it's not going to work seamlessly. So I do think that it'll come with time. I'm not really like 0-5. Okay, terrible trade. Now like the season's over. No, like, I think it'll come with time. I think it'll be fine. But it is just like stepping stones, and they got to figure this out sooner than later because, I mean, as we see in the West, like, you can't really get that bad of a start because other teams are playing well, and you can't get far behind very soon. So the farther behind you get, the more you got to make up in the end. And especially with the Clippers injury history, like, you don't got time like to really take your time and sort this out. Before the injury bug starts hitting, like, you got to start firing all cylinders. Like, you got to figure this team out. So I'm not super worried. I'm not blaming anyone off the top of my head. I guess roster construction, because bigs are just irrelevant. No one's on that team. They don't have bigs. Like, they're starting five. If you're playing with these guys, it's Russ, Harden, PG, Kawhi, and Zubac has not been playing like this good center. So just some glaring holes they need to fix. I'd say look more at the trade deadline to get a big or something, but I don't know.
It's going to be very hard to do because they have no assets. But
yeah, no money. Yeah.
I would say, so the cute thing to do is blame Harden, the biggest headline. That's going to get the most clicks. James Harden. This all on James Harden. But in reality, the Clippers had these issues before James Harden got there. The Clippers weren't contenders before James Harden. They're not contenders after James Harden. They had these issues. They can't defend. This is not 2018, 2019 anymore. Paul George and Kawhi aren't these great defenders that's going to lock you down and go on the other side and give you 30 every night. They can't do both anymore. They are older now. They have experienced a lot of injuries. This team needs a point of attack defender, and they need a big man that can guard the pick and roll. Because come playoff time, Zubac is going to get played out the 4, and then you're going to have to play Kawhi Leonard at the 4. And I don't even know who they're going to put the 5 at this point because Mason Plumlee's going through injury, all of that. They have a problem with defense and rebounding. That is not a James Harden issue. It's not. James Harden came here to set the table for Kawhi Leonard and Paul George because they've never had that before. They've never had a table setter that can really come into the offense, make things a lot easier for Paul George and Kawhi. And so that's why they went out and traded for James Harden. But it's going to take some time. It's been 5 games. Everybody's overreacting. It's going to take time for them to mesh on offense. They were 0-4 in their first 4 games with Russ too. Like, it just happened. And nobody's bringing that up, but this is not a James Harden issue. Does he need to be better? Of course. Does he need to play better? Yes. Is he playing like $37 million right now? No. But they have so many more issues outside of James Harden. He's not the main one. Does he compromise their flexibility? Yes. Did they have a lot of flexibility before this? No, they didn't. So it's like, what are we really doing? They were going to have to move out Zubac anyways. And if they have to move out Zubac, the people they're going to have to trade were expendable anyways. Terrence Mann, I mean, it's not someone you could really like. They hold on to. Norman Powell is expendable. You don't need scoring. You have enough scoring on his roster. You have Bones off the bench. You could bring Russ off the bench, and you have 3 scorers in the starting lineup. You have enough scoring on this team. So for they could still move Norman Powell or still move Zubac to get a big, but they have a lot of problems. And people to act like this is James Harden's fault, like everything's on James Harden and he's gonna be the reason why they don't win a championship. They were never winning a championship with or without him. It wasn't realistic. The needle didn't move much by getting him. I said this, and y'all can vouch. I said this when they traded for James Harden. I came on here and said this move don't really move me. Like it put them in the Lakers Suns tier, maybe sure, fine, but it's the Clippers we're talking about right now, and they haven't been contenders ever. I've been saying that for a long time. They haven't been. They're not better than the Lakers with or without James Harden. They're not better than the Nuggets with or without James Harden. And it's an argument they're not better than the Suns with or without James Harden. So, like, I don't know what Clippers fans expected, but for y'all to just dog James Harden because he was terrible in one game and ignore the fact that y'all have so many other issues outside of him, it just shows y'all how NBA fans overreact after 5 games, bro. It's disgusting. Now, I don't like it. And James Harden is my favorite player by any stretch of the imagination. But I had to come to his defense last night because people were tripping. Go ahead, James. Max.
So the big thing with me is like thinking about this, like obviously the experiment's not over. But like when you look back at it, like what super teams have worked? More in like the recent eras, right? Like past Bron, like when you're thinking about the past, 10, 15 years? What year is it? Like when you think like right after LeBron, so LeBron, like the Heatles, they got 2 rings. But like after that is Kevin Durant and the Warriors. And like super teams like have not been winning championships. You got the Raptors team, you got the Lakers team, the Nuggets won one, the Bucks won one. Like that's
there
what I'm thinking about.
There wasn't a lot
like,
of super teams.
The Sixers,
There's big threes and there's super teams. There was only one super team you've seen, and that was the Warriors. The Miami were just a big 3. Like that's just what it is.
The big threes are what I'm thinking of super teams. I'm like I get what you're saying with like the 4, but like the big 3 is kind of where it's like if it's 2, that's not much. But it's like when you get to that 3 and 4, like the Nets team got hurt because of injuries. You got this team which is kind of that Rockets little experiment didn't work out. Like all these experiments like are not working out. Like I'm sorry, like so far they've proved like these are not working out, right? Like no team is winning a championship off the rip, right? The Nuggets won after being experienced. The Warriors get one after being years of experience. They've all been there before. Milwaukee gets it when, in my opinion, LeBron's out, right? Like if the Lakers make that, I think it's different. But like like these super teams, these like different experiments, these big trades, like they aren't necessarily contributing to championships. So I think it's interesting looking at it. I think the same thing happens this year, unless Dame, I guess. But I don't know. I think a big team has to win it this year, just because Boston made a huge trade, Milwaukee made a lot of moves, and you have Phoenix making a lot of moves. I think those 3 teams are like my 3 big contenders right now. But if Denver wins, obviously, then it's still tried and true. But like these teams who just have chemistry, who have a bench, like bench depth is huge. The Clippers don't have that. Like they're just learning how to win championships. That's big. It's big for the parity of the NBA, in my opinion.
Yeah, Clippers are not a super team. They're not. They have.
You don't think so?
I think Kawhi and PG looks great to start the season offensively. Kawhi does not. He looks shaky. I think they're both declining, honestly. PG,
but they're 3 all-star caliber players. James Harden should have been all-star last year.
Of course.
That's what I'm saying. Like that 3 all-star caliber, where I think Kawhi is still a top 10 player when he's healthy. When he's fully healthy, I think Kawhi is still in the top 10 conversation.
You got to stop saying that.
Why?
We might have to stop saying that.
Saying what? The when he's healthy part? Because I think he is. When he's healthy,
you got to stop saying that, bro. Like that can't keep being a thing, because we could say that for the next 3 years. We've been saying that.
I understand.
For like the past 5. You got.
I guess
it's a
statement like
for what it is.
He is not currently, but when he's healthy, I think he is. Like I don't know. I'm not saying he's right now, but Yes, there's 10 players that take over him currently right now. But when he's
he's healthy right now. You think he's a top 10 player?
No, he's not. At, what's he averaging? 23.
He's not playing that great.
See, and for the future of the season, if he stays healthy, like his points are getting taken off because you have other mouths to feed, right? So like his numbers won't be looking the same. But like two-way, the big thing is going to be his defense. If his defense drops off, like this team could be sound.
Already has.
His defense
I'm
been
saying,
dropped
like,
off. Defense
He hasn't been
off.
a great defender, like a great defender since Toronto. He's been a great defender in the playoffs against the Mavericks, in spot time, but he's not going through a whole season being a great defender. He'll be above average just because he's 6'7", long arms, long wingspan, whatever. But he hasn't been a great defender by any stretch of the imagination past 2 years, period.
All right, so y'all two are both the GM of the Clippers. Where do you guys move from here? What are the moves you make?
I just say it was a GM. I say it was a GM fault. Really, it's just like
I'm not saying it is. I'm saying it's your.
I'm saying it is.
You have to undo these decisions. What do you do? Do you trade guys? Do you still try and go out
to a new arena next year?
They don't have an option to do that. They don't have an option.
Listen, I'm going into a new arena next year. I gotta sell tickets. All four have a possibility to be a free agent. I gotta bring it back at least two. Now it's what two that am I gonna bring back? Kawhi most likely is gonna be the guy to bring back because they basically gave him the franchise, especially since he made them go out there and trade for Paul George. And you might have to bring back James Harden. It might have to be a James Harden, Kawhi Leonard Clipper team, and let Russ and PG do whatever they do on another team somewhere. That might just be the best for them. Maybe not Russ, but PG definitely will be fine somewhere else.
I think PG right now is the most valuable out of those three. I think he's he's the most plug and play player out of all those guys. But to sell tickets, I think James Harden and Kawhi are going to do that for you more than the other two. One, because James Harden he'll stay healthy enough to sell tickets. Maybe he does whatever, but he'll put points forward. He'll sell tickets. Kawhi is just a big name. I would love to see PG on a new team.
But they take themselves out of contention if they lose Paul George and or Kawhi Leonard. If they lose Paul George, they're definitely, I don't think, like if he walks and goes to like Memphis, he slots right in on Memphis, and that becomes a team like him, Ja, Bane, and Jared Jackson. That becomes a team that you definitely will probably take their spot as that team as a serious contender. And like you just bring the Clippers all the way down a peg, especially a year later with James Harden, how he's playing now, and Kawhi Leonard getting older and his knees and his situation. It's just not gonna, whatever they do ain't really gonna help them. They gotta try to flip them for picks, hopefully get a sign and trade, try to bring back a first or a young guy. They don't have no young talent.
Is there any way in any world where the New York Knicks make two trades where they get Paul George and Joel Embiid?
No.
I wanted them to try and get Paul George for like RJ Barrett and whoever last year.
So if you try and trade Joel Embiid for what? IQ, Grimes, Julius Randle, a couple
we're gonna talk about the Sixers. The Sixers might not be losing Joel Embiid. We gotta be realistic. They might not be losing Joel Embiid.
I think for the future they will, but that's fine. That's cool.
Why?
If you want to speak hypothetical,
I would love for him to go to trade Paul George. Please trade Paul George. They should have traded Paul George for James Harden. That would have been a good ass team then. If you would have somehow put Paul George on that team, traded for Tobias Harris, big contract, you traded for James Harden. If they could have got Paul George, a big three of hopefully an emerging Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, and Joel Embiid, that kind of moves me.
Yeah, it should. It should move you. But that's like the odds of that happening are like very, very slim.
It's too late now, but the money would have worked. If you would have traded first round picks, Tobias Harris, James Harden, that works.
But the Clippers would have had to been willing to give up Paul George. They weren't giving it.
That wouldn't have worked for the Clippers. Let's move on to Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey dropped 50 points on the Pacers last night, I want to say. So are you confident? The question is, are you confident in Tyrese Maxey being his number 2 option on a contending team, a team that can win a championship, possibly in the Sixers? Are you sure he's taking that step? Like, because I know we had those questions. I know, especially Q. You was talking about that when we came to the season. He was like, he's going to average 25, but it's not going to be 25. You don't know if he's ready to be at 2. So we 10 games in. Yeah, you did. You said it's going to be a 25, but it's going to be like
fact check this. Last time you said that, you were wrong.
No.
Fact check this.
No, he said that. He said it's going to be 25. You said it's going to be like 25, but it's going to be like not an impactful 25. Is what you said. Kind of. You said that, bro. I promise you, would not be just blatantly lying on you, bro. Like you said, it was gonna be 25.
But you did earlier.
I thought he literally just lied about it. So I'm saying you got to fact check.
I don't think I said it wouldn't be an impactful 25 because I don't think he's an empty scorer like that. I don't think Tyrese Maxey was ever
not empty scorer like Cam Thomas empty scorer, but like it's gonna be a 25.
But if it's not impactful, it's empty, and I don't think he's that type of player. I don't think. Maybe I said his 25 won't be like somebody else's 25, but I think his 25 would have been fine next to Joel Embiid because I literally said the Sixers should be fine as long as they have Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey playing off of him as we seen before earlier. Like even before like that whole Ben Simmons thing, he wasn't playing like this, but you seen they were still winning games that whole stretch without Ben Simmons because they had Maxey taking a lot of role, that scoring role along with Tobias Harris, and it was rolling. He wasn't as good as he is now, but especially now with this jump and he has the range to do what he wants and go out there and get buckets, especially like with the area to create. He should be fine. They should go out there and win games. They have a good enough roster to win games, and you're just gonna see Tyrese Maxey more because he's gonna have the ball a lot more. But I don't think he wasn't gonna be impactful. Like he has no choice but to be impactful, especially with him not getting that extension. He has a lot to play for right now.
Tyrese is my most improved player pick this year. The Pacers have a terrible perimeter defense, which is fine. So he dropped 50, like that's huge still. But last night's game isn't like whatever. It's not going crazy for me. I do think his scoring will drop off a little bit, but I will still see him like putting up around this number throughout the entire year. Will that be enough to propel them to like really move me in the playoffs? I'm not sure. Just because obviously if you're picking duos, would you rather have Dame and Giannis or JoJo and Maxey? Like you're picking Dame and Giannis. Would you rather have the duos or the four?
It might be a situation. It might be a situation where they don't have to see the Bucks because if the Celtics play the Bucks,
you have to see the Bucks or you have to see Boston. You have to see the Bucks or Boston, and I'm taking both of them over them.
But I said that there's a possibility. There's a possibility that the Bucks and the Celtics have to see each other first. I don't think there's a team that I'm confidently. I think confidently is better than the 76ers. That isn't the Bucks or the Celtics. So whoever the Bucks see in the second round, they should beat outside of Miami because you know how that gets down. But even then, the Sixers should be able to, like Joel Embiid should be able to impose his will on Miami. It just doesn't ever shake out like that. But Tyrese Maxey is a different dude.
That's why I said I see them as an Eastern Conference, like they're an Eastern Conference Finals ceiling. Because I think once they meet one of those two teams, Boston, barring injuries, if Porzingis is out, I might pick Philly, right? Like barring injuries, because your bigs are done. But like barring injuries, I still have those two teams winning. And I'm not gonna say handily, but they're winning. Like, I'm not fighting that. So I know Giannis and Dame have kind of had these little bumps to go through this season. They have been playing the greatest together, but I'm still picking those two teams over them. Cleveland's interesting. I'll probably pick Philly over Cleveland, but I think if they can keep developing, like Cleveland has the potential to have the bigs to stop JoJo. But I'm not going to put my money on them yet because they're too young. But I agree. Like I think they'll be a normal Philly team. I think they'll be a good regular season team, and then follow it up with what? I'm trying to think of like who's the playoffs. So they're going to be the 1 seed hypothetically. Right, they keep up with this. They're gonna be the 1 seed.
They could potentially be the 1 seed, and if they don't have to
face the 8.
They can. They all they have to do is get to the ECF is for the Bucks or the Celtics to play each other in the second round, and then one of them knock each other off, and then you're in the ACF, and at that point you would need Joel Embiid to step up and play well in the playoffs, which is
that's what I'm saying. That's the biggest what if. That's the biggest one up.
That's a really if what if, but anything can happen in the NBA nowadays. Now, I want to talk about Tyrese Maxey. Man is averaging 29 points and 7 assists on like 61% true shooting. He's having an insane season. You said what?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, 61% true shooting. So he's having that insane season. If he keeps this up, Tyrese Maxey elevates in the playoffs. We've seen this. We've seen him. He's a good playoff performer. He's not one that drops. Last year at stretches, he was better than Joel Embiid and James Harden. So Tyrese Maxey does not fall off in the playoffs whatsoever. Obviously, he was in a different role. Who?
Tyrese Maxey better than Joel Embiid in the playoffs?
I said at stretches. For stretches.
I don't know about that. But
against the Raptors?
Was it comment?
Against the Raptors? Remember that series against Raptors? When Joel B was injured?
Yeah, that was one, he was injured. Two, the Raptors themselves, we as Joel also knows, he'll tell you the Raptors, since they have that length, it bothers Joel, so it makes him play a lot worse, especially since he's not the greatest passer out the post and passer in general. Tyrese Maxey, like he had his way with them. He's a guard, he's a quick, shifty guard, so he could do a lot with the ball in his hands. Last year though, like he did kind of win that net series, but Joel Embiid was out, so I think Joel Embiid would have dominated the Nets if he was there. But he was better than James Harden in that series. And the Boston series, it was spots where like you didn't see him, but you knew he was there. And it was more like a James. We was waiting to see what James Harden do. We wasn't really paying attention to what Maxey was doing. So a lot of it, sometimes he gets overshadowed when there's the two other presents. So now you're definitely going to be able to see him more in a playoff setting because he's the second option.
All right. So on the flip side is the Pacers let up 50 points. They are leading the number one number one offense in the NBA right now, according to offensive rating. I'm not gonna lie. When I see this Pacer team, I didn't see the Kings last year. They're gonna make a big jump in the regular season, be one of those top seeds in the East, probably like a top 4 or 5 seed in the East, potentially have one of the best offenses in the NBA, potentially the best offense in the NBA. Anybody. But they cannot guard anyone. No one. They can't guard anyone. They're one of the worst defenses in the entire NBA. I think they potentially make the playoffs, and they're gonna be a first round exit. That's what I see when I see this Pacers team. I see the Kings from last year. We're gonna see. Go ahead.
My big thing is I don't think they'll be as high. I picked them higher than anyone else in this pod, but I don't think they're gonna be. I don't know. I think they'll fizzle out eventually. The big difference, I guess, for me and the Kings team is the amount of youth this team has. It's got Bennett Mathurin. It's got Tyrese. Tyrese, what, 2 years younger than De'Aaron? 2-3 years younger than De'Aaron? De'Aaron's like 26, 27?
He should be 26.
De'Aaron's 26? Because Tyrese under 25. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, as far as, them being on the same timetable, but, the other pieces, Harrison Barnes, Domantas Sabonis, those guys are all obviously older. Did I get cut out? Am I good? No, I'm good. Latif's cut out, I think. No, he's good. Never mind.
I'm good.
Frozen. I do think this team had the potential, though. No one wants to play in Indiana, but if they can draft right, they can actually build off of this. If you can draft more defensive pieces, if you can just develop more, the only person that's not on their timetable is Miles Turner. Miles Turner is, whatever, in his 11th year, 10th year or something. No, not even. Whatever, 8. But, he's been on the Pacers for the longest time out of anyone here. And obviously, he's a big piece of that team. You'll need to replace him. But this team, if they make a 4 seed, it's huge, right? Going forward, if you can keep signing players and if you can get, obviously, draft picks, you can build off of this. And I think Tyrese, I don't see him as a 1, but he could be a 2 on a very competitive team. So I think this Indiana team, if they can keep up what they're doing, you can fix the defensive problems later. They can keep going with this. I like this team a lot.
All right, yeah. So let's move on. We got a Tyrese Maxey. Would you rather? Obviously, he's playing amazingly right now. So it feels like time. Let's do a Tyrese Maxey. Would you rather? So let me know. I'm everybody say the answer. Don't talk over each other, man. I'm tired of taking forever to edit TikToks, man. Don't talk over each other. Anyways, all right. First name up, Desmond Bane.
Who gonna go?
Not everyone at once.
You go, bro. I said it's one of y'all two.
I'm going Tyrese Maxey. I think Tyrese Maxey is a better self-creator than what Desmond Bane is right now. Desmond Bane is a better defender, but I think the self-creation is much more important especially for a team like the 76ers. They need that more than what Desmond Bane has provided, even though he has shown, growth in the playmaking and self-creation department. But I still think you go Maxey.
See if you can go. I'm still thinking. Thinking. This is a close one for me by far. This is a close one.
It is close. It is close. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm thinking more about the playoffs last year. Desmond Bane, didn't he 2-3 games? The one that Ja was out, he balled out. He scored 33, I think, which is big.
It is close. I'm gonna go Desmond Bane. Both of them are hooping right now. Desmond Bane averaging 27 himself, as the number one option right now in Memphis. I like what Maxey is doing. I like what he's done in the playoffs, but he playing next to Joel Embiid, which makes it a lot easier. Every single night, Desmond Bane is the primary focus of a team's defense, and he's still hooping. So I like what Desmond Bane is doing. And last year, I think he was better. We got a way larger sample size of him being better than Tyrese Maxey last year, personally. So I'm gonna go with Desmond Bane.
Are we doing this? Are we doing this redraft?
Yes, we are.
So my redraft says otherwise, but that's for different reasons. But I'll go with Desmond Bane too. I think I agree. I think him being the number one scoring option means more to me. Not playing off Joel Embiid. And yeah, I mean he's been doing it just for a little bit longer than Maxey has, obviously. So I'll go with Desmond.
All right, next name up, Tyler Hero.
Desmond Bane. Tyrese Maxey.
Give me Tyrese Maxey. I
Shooting
think
percentages is better, points better, rebounds better, everything's better. Assists.
Yeah, I think whatever you think Tyler Hero does, Maxey does it better, and he's better self-creating. I don't think Tyler Hero is a great self-creator. Like most of his things come off a lot of screens from Bam. Like that's a lot of how he gets open and gets his bucket. And I think Tyrese can get there by himself. He's efficient at every level of the court. In transition, he's a monster. I don't think Tyler Hero even compares to what Tyrese Maxey is doing.
Better playmaker.
I'm gonna go Tyrese Maxey, although Hero is hooping right now as well. Both of them playing well, but he got hurt before he
injured.
got hurt.
He'll be back though.
Before he got hurt, he was hooping though. I'm not gonna lie. Next name up is Jordan Poole.
Tyrese Maxey. Jordan Poole is an inefficient shot chucker that got masked by Golden State. Even though he did contribute to that 2022 run, it's not the same. You could clearly see now by himself. Even though he's not by himself, like he's not even the best player on the team, he's the second best player on the team, and he gets played off the floor. He can't really, really score efficiently. Tyrese Maxey, clears him in every department.
I don't even know why you put this name in here. I think this is borderline disrespectful. I think Tyrese Maxey is playing better right now than Jordan Poole ever has, low key. Tyrese Maxey.
It's not low key. It's not low key. But I ain't gonna lie. This is a conversation.
I didn't get this one.
A year and a half ago, this was definitely. A year and a half ago, this was definitely conversation. It wasn't crazy before this year started, honestly, because Jordan Poole, and Tyrese Maxey are like
they're all in the same bucket.
Yeah,
it's because Tyrese was the third option and Jordan Poole was the third scoring option, but he just took more shots.
All right, next name up is Devin Vassell.
Go ahead, Max.
I love Devin Vassell, but I'm taking Tyrese Maxey. Devin Vassell should be the number one scorer on that team. He's not. First couple of games, he's playing good, but he's not playing the level that Tyrese Maxey has. I think Tyrese Maxey is shooting better from three and the field from him, right? Devin Vassell's not shooting 43% from three. So, yeah, I like Devin Vassell a lot. Tyrese Maxey is playing another level right now.
Yeah, I like Devin Vassell. He's one of my guys. He has, bigger body and whatnot, but what Tyrese Maxey does at his size is a lot better. Devin Vassell just broke out. You kind of seeing what he can do. But everything he could do, Tyrese Maxey does better. He's better in between game also. Better at the cup, even though it's small attempts. Better in transition. And I think, especially team for team, like if you put Tyrese Maxey on that Spurs team, I think it looks a lot better. I think the offense runs a lot faster. So give me Tyrese
Better
Maxey.
Play creation, better assists. I think Wemby gets more touches.
I'm going Tyrese Maxey easily here, but Devin Vassell is playing all right. But I like Tyrese Maxey, what he's doing a lot more, even though he's playing against he's playing next to Embiid.
Kind of crazy.
Last name is Jamal Murray.
Yeah, no, this one's if you give me like the full year, like I need to see how Tyrese Maxey plays in the playoffs, right? I'm going Jamal Murray here. That's only given his playoff track record. He's a good playoff performer. He's shown that year in and year out. Like he plays well in the playoffs. But I don't know. Like if Tyrese Maxey can keep up this 25, 26 per game, like we might be having different conversations. I'll give it to Jamal Murray. They both play next to a superstar. They both play next to a number one option, a top 3 MVP candidate. So I'm gonna cancel that out. I'll give it to Jamal Murray based off playoff performance, based on how he's played in the past. I guess Tyrese not fair because Tyrese Maxey hasn't had that. But currently, I'll go off what I know, and I'll go with Jamal Murray.
Go ahead, Q.
Look, like you said, it's based off of playoff performance. Based off playoff performance, you got to go Jamal Murray. But regular season, it's pretty comparable because Jamal Murray does not have great regular season. He's pretty, I don't want to be disrespectful to say pedestrian, but he puts a pretty average, guard numbers around like 19, 20 points a game, something that Maxey's already doing. If Maxey goes out for a regular season and scores, I don't think he's going to keep up with 29 points per game, but if he's around 25 and 7 like he is right now, he'd do something in the regular season that Jamal Murray has never done. I understand the playoffs mean a lot, especially since he just came off a championship. So it's kind of close. I'm going to just take Jamal Murray because he literally just came off the run. Like, literally.
I'm going Jamal Murray here, too, as well. We can't forget what he just did in the playoffs. We can't. Not at all. He got injured to start the season. Gonna miss a lot of time, but it's still Jamal Murray. I think he's a better half-court player. Honestly, I still think he is. He's a better half-court player. I think Jamal Murray's better in not Jamal Murray. I think Tyrese Maxey better in transition, but I think Jamal Murray is better in the playoffs, which is really important for me. So I'm gonna go Jamal Murray. And that's gonna do it for our Would You Rather. The last topic of the show. We snuck this in here at the end is a 2022 NBA redraft. I feel like it's time right now. Ant is hooping. Tyrese is hooping. LaMelo is averaging like 30 points in the last 5 games.
It's a relevant draft. It's a relevant draft.
All right, so we don't gotta take too much time. We can. Who want to get the first pick?
First, I'll go first.
Okay.
I mean, the first pick's the only one that I don't think is contentious.
What?
You said okay. Yeah, you heard I said the first pick's the only one that's not contentious.
All right, go ahead.
I know we disagree on two. With the first overall pick, the Minnesota Timberwolves still select Anthony Edwards. Nothing to say. Nothing to disagree with.
That's clearly the right pick. That's clearly the right pick.
No, yeah, duh.
I got second.
Whoever. You guys both have the same pick. You guys both disagree with me. So you guys, I think, whatever.
Oh, with the second pick of the 2020 NBA draft, the Golden State Warriors select Tyrese Halliburton. I think LaMelo was obviously on the board, but I think based on what you want to do with Curry, later on in the season, try to get him all ball, get his legs a little bit more fresher, especially for postseason runs. You go with the dude that can pass the ball. I'm not saying LaMelo can pass the ball, but as of right now, Tyrese Halliburton looks like he's playing like a top 8, top 7 point guard, and that's exactly what you would want next to Steph Curry, and he has some size to him.
All right. With the third overall pick, the Hornets select LaMelo Ball. Still, pretty easy.
Nothing much to be said. Yep. With the fourth overall pick, the Chicago Bulls select Tyrese Maxey. I like the fit of him next to Levine better than Bane next to Levine. So, pretty like I said, I probably have Bane over Maxey right now, but I'm not putting Desmond Bane and Zach LaVine on the same team. So I'll switch it up. Get the point in the 2.
All right.
Yeah, Q Cavs.
It's Q pick.
Yeah,
Cavs at 5.
Who's this? What's the pick?
I think it's pretty easy. You got DG.
Right?
5.
Yeah, you got 5.
They picked Okoro.
You picked. You went. What you went for 3?
Tyrese. LaMelo went 3. Tyrese went 4.
No, he didn't. Tyrese went 2.
I went Tyrese at 2.
No, Tyrese Maxey went. Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah, okay.
Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah.
Oh.
Go with. I think it's a pretty easy pick.
It's the Cavs.
It's easy.
It's the Cavs.
It's one guy you should pick.
With this, I'm gonna take Desmond Bane.
Okay. I like Devin Vassell as much as the next guy, but I'm picking Desmond Bane over Devin Vassell.
All right. The Hawks, they need a center, but best player available. With the 6th overall pick, the Atlanta Hawks select Devin Vassell.
All right.
With the 7th overall pick, the Detroit Pistons select Jaden McDaniels.
I knew it.
Yeah, that was
knew it.
I got the defensive upside. I mean, you'll get Cade next year. We'll just say the same thing happens. But I think it's a big piece. Defensively, it can be super sound with Cade and McDaniels.
See, this from the Knicks at the 8th pick.
Don't be weird. Don't be weird.
I'm gonna take Emmanuel quickly.
You might need to re-say that because he wants with the 8th overall pick, the New York Knicks select Emmanuel quickly.
With the 8th overall pick, the New York Knicks select Emmanuel quickly.
Okay.
What pick did he go with actually? Didn't he go like late 20s?
25.
This was top end. Okay.
All right. With the 9th overall pick, the Wizards select Denny Adavia.
There you go.
I'm keeping the pick the same.
Wait, with the what? You said the 9th overall, right?
Yep.
With the 10th overall pick, the Phoenix Suns select Onyeka Okongwu. Which I get it, they just drafted Aiden, but they drafted a center in this draft, and you're just gonna draft a better center. I think Okongwu's got potential, but if they drafted a center in the last draft, I'm gonna just give them exactly what they need to get a better one.
With the 11th pick in the 2020 draft, the Spurs select Patrick Williams.
That's not bad. I'll just switch my picks.
You said who? Patrick Williams?
Patrick Williams.
Pat will.
They don't want to pay Patrick Williams.
At what pick? At 11?
I thought you were taking. I'm not gonna lie. I thought you were taking Sadiq. After how much you talked about him, I thought you were taking Sadiq Bey.
All right, we had 12 with the Spurs, right?
12 with the Kings.
12 with the Kings. Oh, okay.
Take your point
guard. Kings.
Okay. With the 12th overall pick, the Kings select Cole Anthony.
With the 13th overall pick, the New Orleans Pelicans select Sadiq Bey.
Right. With the 14th overall pick, the Boston Celtics select Isaiah Stewart.
All right.
Wow.
That's gonna be the it for the episode. Basketball been on actually. But we are about to get out of here. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, follow the channel, like the video, and we are out. That was episode 59. Thank you guys for watching.